All right, we're going to call to order June 10th at 3:30. We'll do a roll call. Mark? Here. John?
Present.
Carrie?
Here.
I'm here. Kevin, we said will not be here.
Correct.
And Bill will not be here.
Correct.
All right. And Rita is here. We have our favorite attorney with us as well.
Wow, thank you.
I can't say that in front of my sister. She's supposed to be my favorite, but she's not here. She's not listening. So we have confirmation form. Approval of minutes. So last time we met in May, we did not have April's minutes with us, so we will take 2 votes on that. Unless somebody chooses to combine those to one. So do we have any discussion on the minutes? Has everybody read them? Any further discussion on it? Questions?
I've read through both. I'd make a motion to approve the April and May minutes.
I'll second it.
There's a motion made and seconded for April and May's minutes both. No further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And it carries. So we will go ahead and move to our, I don't know if this is called, if you want to call that old business or new business, what you, the email, or not the email, yeah, the email that you had on bills. You want to bring that up later and have Amanda go through her stuff? You want to do that?
Yeah, I think we can do this with Amanda first, but I think that we may, when we're talking about that email, we might have some
Should
questions
be
for
valuable.
Amanda as well.
Let's
So
just do that. Let's go right through it.
whatever
Let's
you want
surprise
to do.
her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Surprise. There was a bill, I had asked the question last time. We have not been, we've talked about making a splash with some things that we've done, because we want to do some things, and we have, which is good. But there's been no request, unless it's happened within the last month, from the development at Saranova to do anything. And the conversation was, one thing that really did happen that was out of their control that they did not expect, and Amanda's going to correct me if I say this wrong, would be the median. I don't know what you're going to call it. It's a left turn median, something or other, probably more technical than that, in front of the Meyer gas station really is where it would be. Is that right?
Woodhall. So we're going to restrict turning movements at the Woodhall North Wayne intersection so that you cannot turn left into Woodhall or turn left from Woodhall onto North Wayne. And that is a result of a traffic study from the Saranova development that is happening. So that was unexpected from the developer, but a requirement from the city and NDOT.
Okay. So that is, can you zoom in on that? I know you got a lag, but.
Yeah, and this, it is really weird when you're operating the mouse from down here. Where am I? Am I close here?
No, you're at one. Keep going.
Oh, I'm at Walmart. Sorry, I thought it was
Right there. Nope, keep going. That's not Woodhall. It's the next one is, right?
This one. Yeah, this is Woodhall here.
So you will not be able to be turning left if you're
If you're heading
northbound.
north,
Correct.
And you cannot turn
Left.
northbound out of Woodhall. Is that what that, is that, am I saying both of those things correct?
Yes, Woodhall will turn into right in, right out only access.
Has that conversation, I mean, you can't hear it, has that conversation been had with like, is that gonna affect anybody for like double envelope or?
It will not. We did some traffic counts along there, and based on the counts, it will affect the employees,
Employees.
but not like semi-traffic, things like that. They all tend to want to go to Wendell Jacob and around. So to my knowledge, no direct contact to the businesses have been made. However, an ordinance was passed to restrict that.
Okay.
What are those people turning right out of there if they want to go north? Obviously, they have to turn right. What are they going to do? Just
You
not make
can
it?
get, so you can go from Woodhall back, if you can see the map in front, Mark, you can go, if you leave here, you can go up here to Wendell, Jacob, and then go to the light and head north. So they're not stuck.
And,
Yeah.
and it's really, Vestal has one shift. It's gonna be their employees that are gonna, that'll notice it the most.
Yes.
And more than likely they're turning right out of there or they're going up to the light to begin with.
Right, right.
I'm assuming.
Yeah, it would affect the northbound people in North Wayne.
Yeah.
You can turn in there, but if you're on Woodhull, you're not trying to turn left anyway,
No,
so.
no, but going in, heading northbound will be the biggest. So anyways, we talked about what it is. We talked to Bill and he said, yeah, they have pricing. I asked the question, what is that?
I think I
cost?
forwarded that email
You
to
did,
all of you
yep.
guys, yeah.
I just brought up the question, hey, that would be an easy one to justify. If we ever did anything, it wasn't like we put a road in for somebody to develop off of, or this is something that I think this is kind of potentially meant for, if we
Well-
wanted to. So that was where we're at. Now you can take it from here because you just brought it up
Well,
again.
one of the things that I felt like with this potential, so we had talked about, clearly, we probably wouldn't want to pay for that whole thing, but what could we do to help? And I feel like this project does not just benefit one developer, and you have brought that up multiple times, Eric. We want to do things that benefit the TIF district, we want to do things that benefit the community, not just one developer. And I think that this project, this happening, and that's requirements, benefits that whole TIF area, quite honestly, as more development happens. We have gotten calls about a potential development, and again, sometimes they do their due diligence and nothing ever happens, but a potential development that could happen in this area outside of next to where TJ Maxx is as well. So I just feel like this whole area is gonna get a lot busier, not just with Serenova, but with a lot of other things. And so I think that this medium project is a good project for the safety of this whole district, of the community in this district. So to me, if we were to pursue something, if we were to say, hey, tell us what this is gonna cost, and then this board determines what could we potentially contribute, I think that that's a good project. But I wanna throw it out to you guys, it's not up to me, so think about that.
Well, that spreadsheet from NDOT was super easy to read on my phone, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I was surprised at all of this stuff. I was terrible.
There's been no quotes probably that you've seen, have you?
I have not seen any quotes, but I think that could be a reasonable request. If that's something that in this project is what you guys want to contribute to request to the developer, what is this added cost? And they should be able to easily tell you a ballpark, it's going to cost us X dollars more to do this specific part of the project, because it was not planned, so it probably wasn't in their original scope.
Right.
So
So we have had the discussion of, do we pursue opportunities? Do we wait for an ask? What do we look like? And so I wanted to pull this out to say, I know you guys had seen it because I forwarded it, but get your thoughts. It's just to spur some discussion. You don't have to make a decision, but I just felt like it is something that to me makes sense for our whole area.
What do you think, John?
Yeah, potentially, depending on the cost.
Depending on cost. I think it's a little bit of a way to play offense instead of defense. And the fact that if it does come and there is a request, it may be a request that doesn't fit real well with what we're wanting to do. We can kind of control what that request is a little bit on the front end if we approach it at this point in time, rather than having to say no to something that really doesn't make sense. I don't know, just a thought.
So who would we direct to kind of talk with the developers? Like, how much is it? Is that a you job?
I could make a phone call.
I mean, I think it's worth an ask.
I will tell you, if you ask, an ask is probably going to be expected.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
That's just reality. Amanda, from your perspective, you know what we do, what they do. We don't ever want to pay for something that they were going to do anyways. If we don't have to, right?
right.
But if this is,
I would be particularly like, is there any other pressing need from a long-term city planning point of view with the development coming in
With this project,
that could benefit even longer-term stuff in other projects?
We've talked about the trail potentially relocating on this board before.
so the trail will be relocated. I will tell you that's already in their plans. So they already have shown that they're putting the trail in. They're phasing this. So with this phase, I think it'll be beneficial. But the next phase where there's potential connectivity back to North Crest is pretty important for the city. You know, I think that is not a now thing. They're only looking at doing one phase. I would say of that project in this phase, the restriction of the turning is probably the one thing that benefits beyond that development. And for the long-term life of that road. Now, does it benefit the city? Yes. Is the street ours? No. You know, so there's that, but unless you wanted to wait till a subsequent phase, which
Yeah,
may or may not occur.
subsequent phase wasn't the North Crest connection, that's the one that has to go over that ravine.
Well, so I haven't seen the last one, but when you talk about relocating the trail, like that phase one doesn't have any of that in it, but it's gonna have to have some of it in it? Like that was some of the question, right?
Phase one he has sidewalk on one side and a trail with sidewalk on the other. So he's already put in his plans, like prepping of starting that connection.
But it'll go nowhere.
It'll go nowhere.
It'll go
to the
nowhere until phase, until
And
potentially
I would-
phase two
I would
or three, whatever it be.
struggle- I would struggle personally putting any money into a trail that doesn't go anywhere. They did that, I think it was Alaska they did that, and it didn't really work for them. Was it bridge maybe? I don't know how
So
that,
that's the end of the US, it couldn't go anywhere.
oh, okay. That's what it was.
This eventually, I mean, with that connection, I agree with Amanda, that connection to North Crest is very valuable to us. I think that that's a great, when it gets to that phase. So that's something that, I don't know what that will look like for sure when it comes up, but
What, we don't know this answer, but if you off the cuff, would you think that phase one fully developed before phase two starts, would it fund? Is it gonna be incremental enough that it'll help fund that second ask probably? I mean, that's kind of what I'm thinking too. Phase one might generate money for us to pay for phase two out of the same property even. Is
phase
that,
one, I would
That's the theory of why you phase things.
Yeah.
Correct.
I mean, so I would agree with that.
I would agree with that, because technically until you're secondary, you can't start selling lots, and you're not doing that, but I would definitely agree with that statement as well, that that would be why he's doing that. Now, I don't know, I guess I don't know if I have seen if this is considered a phase two or a phase three, but I don't think he's given us any actual phases. So eventually there's gonna be some residential, this one phase coming as well, and that could be before the connection to North Crest, I don't know.
I'm not sure who said it, it might have been you. But I definitely agree, if we better have a pretty strong, we're willing to give before we make any kind of suggestions.
100%.
Because
Which is why I wanted to bring it up today, if you guys wanted to have that discussion to say, yeah, that you guys thought that this, if it's a median or like delineators, is that, like, I'm not exactly sure what they're gonna do, but, and Bill brought it up too, we kind of talked about, and he says in here, you know, they're gonna have to remove asphalt regardless, they're gonna have traffic to maintain regardless. I mean, you could easily say, hey, I think we could put a cap on a dollar amount, but we would like to contribute to this, we wanna be a part of that. Again, it's our first, you know, we've collaborated internally with internal departments, this would be our first public project. If you would wanna put a cap and you wanna make an ask, we can do that. I do not wanna call if you're
If you're on the fence.
If you're on the fence, I absolutely don't even wanna make the call, cause
Yeah.
you know, that's not,
what kind of dollar figure?
the door I wanna
What
open.
would this even, I mean, I'm gonna freely say, I have no idea, even a ballpark, what some, so I guess I feel kind of out of my depth at the
Because
moment.
I don't
Like, what-
know.
what-
I don't know what kind of funds you have, but my guess is it's gonna cost more than what you're willing to give. So I don't, to me, the cost is irrelevant, because I'm gonna go out on a limb and say what you guys have available or be willing to give to the developer will not cover the cost of that.
But would a portion of it be worthwhile?
Absolutely, I think any of it would be worthwhile to the developer. It's money that they didn't have.
What's the ballpark of what it would cost him? Did you, or was?
I don't know.
So, in the email that Bill sent, he said
100,000 or
an
a
average
million?
price of center curb type A is 189 lineal foot.
It's the traffic that's gonna cost them, the traffic controls more than the actual work probably. Is that fair? And the design, between design, it's the stuff we'll never see in the end when it's gone. It's the design of traffic control, I'm sure.
I mean,
6 figures, not 7.
So this is 200, you know, it could be
So
around 200
is the
feet.
design done?
Yeah.
Yes. Because it had to be done to pass the, traffic impact study with NDOT. So yes.
So that's an opportunity that might make the most sense too. Since they've already put that money into it, I don't know if we can do that or not, but they've got a few $1,000s in that for sure. Maybe there's something where, hey, this wasn't part of it and we helped on the design side that was done. I mean, that would be a set figure that I'm pretty sure we would be comfortable paying that dollar amount. Is that,
For what he paid to get.
yeah?
So I know that so I guess you could look at it kind of two ways. I know the engineer that did the design for that was also their engineer that did the whole development. However, they hired another firm to do the actual traffic study.
Okay.
And to my knowledge, that's the only thing that that firm has done for the developer. So that could be a very set,
The other
obviously,
one could
whatever.
be,
The other one you can,
they could be flex. They could make sure.
Yeah, you could,
Yep.
yeah.
You guys have a dollar amount in mind?
Okay. Throwing it out there, 6 figures, not 7, so.
I was thinking 50.
Yeah, I was close to 50, but
But my question is,
I was thinking like 10, so
my question is if we give them 50 or whatever the number is, and the overall project is $600,000, is this person gonna think of this as a nice gift, or are they gonna think it's kind of insulting?
so this person's the only one that I know of that's ever gone through this process before and had to put the money back. Correct? If they didn't follow through, that's what happened. And I think they're the only one that's gone through this process before. Is that
not the only one, but,
individually, as an individual?
well, yes. The other one I can think of the.
Investment group with
The bridge got.
the sign, but that was, yeah.
We paid for that and then just hired.
right, I don't know, but I think, we had to set up before I was involved, and all of us maybe, and then it didn't happen. So it came back, or however that was set
Yeah.
up, whatever it was. And it was similar dollar amounts, I wanna say. I think it was around 43-ish.
I'd have
That's
to,
an old memory, but,
I feel like he told me what the traffic study cost, and now I can't remember.
I don't know.
It was in a conversation of, I had to pay this for, and I don't remember what that was. I can do a little digging on that if you guys want to, if, you wanna,
You sticking with your $10,000 number?
I just thrown that.
Aretha, is this Ken Wilson we're talking about?
Sarah Nova Development, yes.
He's a very sophisticated operator in Angola. He knows the municipal world. Has he asked for anything from us?
No, he is not. That's why we said, do we open that door because we want to be a part of a public
He
project?
may have opened it with this public meeting, but I mean, if he wanted it, he knows how to ask. And he would know what to ask and who to ask, so.
Yeah, so we don't have to make a decision tonight on anything. I wanted to acknowledge Bill sent us that, this, you guys had asked about it, you talked about, do we want to start opening doors or do we want to wait for an ask? So that's why this came to you.
my suggestion would be, he's up here on a regular basis. I probably wouldn't make that phone call because of what you said. It's gonna be an open checkbook at that point in time, or a question, and then we look like we're not doing the right thing by not giving enough potentially. I think next time I would probably say, hey, we've talked about this. What does something like that cost? Because he's brought it up to your attention, it's a cost he wasn't expecting. So you've brought that up, but then tell me what you're talking about. Like, what is this? And then we have a better idea of what it is and we can make that decision. So it just comes up that way. Is that fair or not? John, you're thinking different?
I think it's reasonable,
Okay.
but 6 figures, not 7, is kind of close enough for me. I'm like, we know what we have to deal with, and with future developments, you'd probably like to save some for that. But still, this is a significant improvement, right?
Yeah. Good. it's easy to, when you know how much money is available, it's easy to tell somebody how much a project costs.
Sure.
So it'd be good to have an idea of what that cost is. Does that make sense?
I would love to have a better number.
So I think we'll get it that this way without
Okay.
opening up a checkbook. Is that good? Okay, we'll move forward with that. Amanda,
Yes.
you're really up.
Now this is what I came for.
So
Now you're,
the
the whole reason for
conversation,
being here.
I'll lead into this a little bit, but conversation was, you know, we approved the 30,000 for Mitch to do the water. But then the question, which was great, it was brought up with, hey, guys, you approved that. We want to make sure that we're not using that money to approve things that you guys didn't expect it to be doing in non-TIF areas. Am I saying that correctly? And it was like, let's just confirm that we're doing the right, that us as a group is aware of what we said yes to.
And I think beyond just non-TIF areas, so when we did the wastewater study, we started that in 24, and so we had areas that were talked about that either we were focusing on development or developers were talking to us of, hey, what does that look like? And so we picked 7 areas that we focused on for future development. So now that we're starting 2 years later on the water side, it'd be very easy for us to take those same 7 areas, but I want to make sure that we're not missing something that you guys are really focused on, that.
Just the map that
So, I printed the map off. We can go through kind of the 7 areas. There's potentially some that may not make sense anymore. Area 1, which is Pokagon State Park, in my opinion, it shouldn't be included in the water study because we're under construction. So that is happening. So to me, that's now part of our existing infrastructure, or will be. So we don't have this theoretical, what happens if Pokagon connects in? However, we can keep it in there, we can keep that corridor in there, you know, there's options with that, but.
Our quote follow these, the quote that we have that they've sent us already, did it follow these 7 regions?
No, it was just the scope of what they are going to do. And
Okay.
we have a kickoff meeting scheduled next week for that. And so that's gonna be part of that conversation of, okay, we're gonna swap out this area for this area.
Okay.
And a lot of those, they're using general engineering assumptions. So this is gonna be a residential area, so we can assume this kind of flow. It would do the same thing if we picked a new area. So that's really what I wanted to talk to you guys and get a better understanding from you guys on. We can kind of go through the 7 areas. So the first one was Pokagon. Area 2 is the Saranova, but it's the commercial area. So when we looked at this, we separated the commercial area of Saranova, which is number 2, from the potential residential area of Saranova. I would assume that's what he would call it. So it's all in that same area, south and east of Meyer. We separated them because from a flow standpoint, they're going 2 different directions. That's why. But those are those 2 areas. Area 4 is on 100 North, so it's Chuck Sheets's property. Area 5 is Eastland Crossing, so it is the entirety of that, including what has not been developed. Area 6 is southeast of town, so it is as you go through Reddington Heights, and that was area that was talked about to be residential. And then area 7, which is not on the big map, but that is Pleasant Lake. So I guess from my standpoint, my opinion, I think area 7 should remain. That's still a hot topic with the city, with the county, which is the Pleasant Lake. I think it would be good to know what impact that would have if that moves forward on the water. I think I already talked about area 1 of Pokagon, of either removing that or adjusting that to maybe the corridor development, but we already have infrastructure there, so I guess I'm interested in your guys' opinion. And then the other areas are areas that have not been developed yet, but either have plans for or a lot of conversation around. So those are the areas in a nutshell that we looked at.
What would you guys think if we removed Pokagon? But, did that area, like some of those properties that Wise has on West Maumee? Like, would that make any sense, or?
So that one's tricky. Because it's not, I don't know how that one works. The water's there, but not there. Because Love's has that.
So that's a property on the other side, but he's
Oh, you're
got,
talking the other stuff by the church.
yeah,
Okay.
I don't know. I'm
No,
just
I
throwing
don't-
out, it's conversations we've had of just,
And to my knowledge, Region 6 isn't going, there's no plan to do anything at Region 6. At the time there was, but that's
At the time, there was interest, yes.
Yeah.
correct, but I think that's all fallen off from my understanding.
so
In
that,
fact, if anything, that moves over to Can Camp.
I would agree with that. So
That's
all of those properties sold in an auction recently. There
Not,
is,
not 6. Region 6 didn't.
oh, no, but down through there
Not
on
on
that
our
Bill
map,
Dowler,
not on the
yeah,
map here.
not on the map, yeah, you're right.
But the one property right on Can Camp will be developed.
The one that is south of, what's that subdivision?
Shadow Lake.
Shadow Lake, yeah.
So that one will be done. I don't know when
I
this
think so, I know who
conversation will
bought
start,
it.
but that will
I
happen.
haven't heard anything, but yes, I would agree with that statement.
So that will happen.
So are you thinking removing 6 completely and then moving it to Can Camp, or just adding Can Camp to 6?
What I know about 6 is there's not much you can do there with the low ground that's there anyways. But maybe I'm wrong. That's what I feel like I know.
When there was conversation, the stopping point was NIPSCO on that. It wasn't necessarily the terrain, it was the availability of gas and the cost to get the gas.
And so that's a good thing to throw in there, right? Is gas, which we've talked about, but
So here's what I'll say is the properties that did sell, which are further down on Bill Deller, there is at least 2 more builds that are going to happen. Now, they have reached out to say, hey, is there any chance I can connect to city infrastructure? When we measured off of Bill Deller to where the sewer comes, I think the availability agreement was gone from that.
It is, but it's a low pressure force main on the sewer side, so the.
Yeah, and we just were like, there's no, I mean, that's
on
gonna
Bill
cost.
Deller, but not on the property you have pulled up.
So this property has been technically subdivided out. There is a new owner, sorry, I still was on measurement. There is a new owner for pretty large lot here. I mean, there's new owners throughout here, but this is what you're talking about will get developed, is what you think. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
What does that mean from a city side? It's not it's not part of the city.
And our utilities stop at Shadow Lake, so
Right.
that would definitely be a utility extension. We would have to look at capacity. On the water side, we have capacity and pressure concerns on the south side of town. So, yeah, that could be
Valuable then.
valuable information to have. It could be costly to either the city or the developers. If someone came in and said, I'm putting 200 homes there, okay, we have to figure it out. So yeah, I think that would be important to know. Sewer's okay.
And gas shouldn't be, I mean, once it's in town, it's gonna be available there before it is at the stock at the Reading Road property, I would assume,
Yeah,
With-
gas comes up that road.
right there.
I would agree.
I think that one will be more developable than Region 6.
So remove
I'm
Region
talking, you guys
6
share,
to Can
I just am
Camp.
saying what I know, what I believe I know to be true.
What's the deliverable for when they do a water study? Do they say, well, we consider these 6 regions, and if you did this in this region, you'll need to do this?
Yes.
Or do they just deliver to you a working model so that you can run your own scenarios?
Both. So they will look at whatever regions we pick, and based on what type, so we also, not only do we have to pick the region and the boundary, then we also have to tell them what kind of development. So like this one that we're talking about, most likely some sort of residential development. So we would tell them residential, then they're gonna run some.
Number of lots and standing
Yeah,
flow.
basic numbers and say, well, we anticipate X number of gallons here. And then they will put that, they build a model, and then they will put that in the model. And then they'll say, well, you only have a 4-inch line here and that's not gonna serve them, or whatever it is. So to develop this, you also need to do this, this, and this upgrade. And so then they will build that in and say, if this comes, not only are you gonna have the cost of this development, but you're also gonna have this cost to be able to serve them.
Any upstream piping that needs expanded.
So there's a possibility.
But then do they also give you the model so that, let's say the parameters change? You're like, well, do I need an 8-inch pipe or could I get by with a 6-inch pipe? Do you have the ability to change that input and model that yourself?
Very rudimentary, but they also, that's how they're gonna keep business, and that they also keep a lot of that. So if it was something like completely different, like we thought this was homes and now it is a big data center.
Yeah.
Well, that changes everything. We're gonna go back to them, which we have with this firm. We have a good working relationship and partnership, but yes, that is, they hold some of that information.
Okay.
I think it's probably worth noting that your Region 5 and this property we're talking about could potentially come down to which one's easiest. They both probably won't go at the same time, potentially, and they're gonna come down to, more than likely, which one is the easiest one to get developed for the lowest amount of dollars. So knowing both of those would probably be advantageous. Was that fair? I mean, do you think that's, I mean, it's a major assumption, but knowing what's going on there, I think you'll probably see one or the other happening. So I think you keep both of those in there.
Well,
Or do you think that's not true?
I mean, so from what I know, the potential on Can Camp is probably a couple years
Further out, right?
Yeah,
Maybe
much
until
further out.
5 is done.
Eastland Crossing Phase 2
It's pretty quick.
could be happening this fall. I would say moving dirt, if we get everything potentially.
Retha mentioned, I think it's Zone 1 up Pokagon. You mentioned leaving that out. What's your thoughts behind why you want to leave that out?
Because we're already doing it now. So when they did the wastewater study, that region was in, and we were, Amanda's office, it was just kind of in the conversations of extending water and sewer to Pokagon, or really just sewer at that time, I think, or maybe
Water
water,
came first.
just water at that time. And we are already extending water and sewer out there now. That's already happening. So that's why I thought we could just,
We know what's there. Nothing else is tied to it. You have a good sense of what's available.
Correct. In the design for the water, really both, but especially for the water, we oversized that for development. So from that standpoint, it probably wouldn't bring any more information to us because it's already adequate.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Do we think the Sheets property and the property, Center Lake property, if really, that's not on here, Center Lake's not on here, but it wouldn't matter if one went over the other, they're pretty comparable as far as that goes.
I would agree, yeah. And I will tell you that the city and the county applied for some joint funding to look at the 100 North corridor.
Yeah.
Potentially doing a partnership project of a new road, a trail, water and sewer along that corridor. So I would keep something only in there. Yeah, and I guess knowing that, yeah, like kind of like you said, Region 4, all right, we picked the Sheets property. Well, if that flops to the south side of the road, it's still the same area. It's still going to be pretty comparable in cost and capacity, things like that.
Probably should discuss, a lot of these projects, majority of are residential, which we know that, like, how does that tie in? But that ties in commercial doesn't happen without the residential spaces available. So I guess just so we have that understanding amongst ourselves.
So Amanda, do you think, like, I think if we move Region 1 somewhere else, but I think keeping Serenova, keeping a residential behind Serenova, so 2 and 3, the Sheets property, I think is fine because like you just mentioned, if we end up going to Center Lakes, we can flip flop it. Do we need to keep Eastland Crossing? Or what is the benefit for that right now? Do you feel like?
Maybe that, instead of it being that boundary, maybe you look along the corridor of 827 to the north of there. So we really kind of want to look at places where we don't have utilities now. You know, that's kind of the theory of what does it take to get utilities there and
If development.
how much do we need, you know, and Eastland Crossing, we have plans for that. Utilities are pretty much there. But is it the desire of the city to look north of there, which is outside of city limits? And so it's almost looking at areas that are adjacent to what we have and what does that look like? And
That are in our ETJ and could be annexed.
So with that, 2 other ones, does it make sense to look at Fox Lake? And does it make sense to look north of Pokagon?
And I would like to throw in East Maumee just because, and I don't even know if that makes sense. We have had conversations for years on, do we want to loop sewer around? Do we want to take water? You know, are we expecting that there's some areas to the east that could be developed? Like, is that, but you guys didn't pick it for the wastewater, so maybe that's still not a topic?
so, all right, let's go one at a time. So East Maumee, we did not pick that because there was really no, like, there was interest in conversation, but really nothing that was like, yes, that this really could happen in the next 5 years.
Okay.
So that, we didn't pick that. Now, if that's a priority area to push development, I think it definitely could be.
Is it fair to, my understanding is like East Maumee has plenty of capacity on the water side to the point you have problems in the summer where you have to go out and flush.
You're correct.
So like we think it's
Yeah.
there.
You're right, yeah.
You guys you know where they're talking, they're out by the school.
The other thing, if you're gonna develop out there, is can you get the land?
So that was that's the Rita's question, the property north of 20, there, is it 100 or is it
100 East.
100 East and 20, that has been designed to develop for different iterations. But I think from the water side, we're talking water out here, the water sounds like that's not gonna probably be an issue from conversations I had years ago.
Agreed.
I
So
agree.
it might not make sense to put that into it. So I'm sorry, now you got your other 2.
You're good. Fox Lake, it depends on, I don't disagree. But that is, I think we would need to have some sort of good direction. Are you talking about one side of the lake versus another? Are you talking about annexation? Are you talking about, I mean, they have more issues on the sewer side than the water side at Fox Lake because they can't get both of those on a lot and it's harder to get a septic field.
Right.
I think it could be something that we could look at, but I would definitely need some information from Rita or from you guys of what does that look like? What's your vision? Is it just demoing in homes? Is it just we're providing utilities to what is there? So I think there'd be a lot of assumptions that would be made, but it certainly could be included. And then north of Pokagon, I think this is definitely viable. And maybe you move Pokagon to the north of that. That becomes, quite honestly, a political area. But that doesn't, I mean, we don't have to be political with it. We can say, well, this is what's needed to go that far.
And then you have the north of Pokagon thing takes you'd want to make sure you're on both sides of 69 if you were going to go north of Pokagon.
Yeah, and currently, so the Pokagon project, that was the plan. And then because of funding and things like that, we're only on one side right now. And we're set up to be able to continue So yeah, you could look at that area of kind of almost like a horseshoe around that.
Which would only be potentially beneficial to us on that utility side, getting use on our utilities. I mean, chances of us annexing outside of our ETJ
Pretty low.
are pretty low. So up to like 300, 400 is our ETJ heading to Pokagon. But, and I know what you're saying, and I know why you're saying it, I'm just, it would be beneficial on that utility side, but if you're looking at just sheer potentially developable areas for us that could be annexed, no. Areas that could use our utilities, absolutely.
Those also would, I would argue the fact that those would create taxing units, more taxing units within your city as well. If that developed out there. That's how you look at it. Yeah, the only thing that shows up in Ryan's paper is utilities. But what will show up indirectly would be more
Other commercial activities.
all kinds of activities. I'm not pushing for it. I'm going everything out there. I don't have a thought. You guys will have to talk through those.
We have lots of thoughts.
I'm not saying like I would lean one way or the other for sure.
Yeah.
Pleasant Lakes probably is a lower case than North as far as if you're just looking at the utility use. That's all you're getting at Pleasant Lake.
Benefit.
I mean, it's a huge benefit, but you're only, the difference between going north, and I'm not saying pull up Pleasant Lake, the difference between going north and Pleasant Lake's not gonna add probably further taxing units in our town. Going north will bring potential more taxing units to town. That's the difference between
No,
them.
yeah, I completely agree with you. I just,
So, but I think they both could make a good case.
I mean, in theory, it'd be the two ends, both highly, highly political areas. Yeah, I don't see an issue moving the Pokagon area to north if that is an interest, and just from a.
So what would you guys, because really we're only here for you guys, for the city, right? What would you, if you could choose, what would your choices be? Out of everything we just discussed.
I would add the Can Camp area. I'm interested in the Fox Lake, but I question if that would bring.
It might be a secondary study, because you might do sewer and water at the same time.
Open a can of worms in there of how do you even navigate through that. Out west, I don't know if there's any development areas. It's all in city limits, and we do have utilities, but like Don Wise owns some property south of like Innovation Park there. If there's anything in there, that's all areas that would need utility extensions.
Same with Kaufman's property there too. Which that is in our, both those are in our district.
our TIF district.
So like you
Yeah,
double dip on those ones.
Is there anything directly in our TIF district that we might have?
Those ones there is where she's talking, so like Donnie's and Ron Kaufman's there.
So we brought, was that it here?
Yeah.
He
Right.
bought that. I have not heard anything from him since he was at that initial meeting, but
I mean, I called him, right? Which property is that? That's Kaufman's?
wait, where am I? No.
You were right.
Yes. Yeah, I'm right. Yeah, it's called like something green.
Yeah, so I reached out to them when we were talking about it, and I talked to him, and he said, we don't have a plan. We were looking for people we're ready to do when somebody wants to do it. And they would be there, they would self-develop the ground. That's the business that they're in.
There's some potential other things, development happening potentially in this area in the future as well. So that's just where my head went to the west because we didn't have anything. But I say that to say we also have a new water tower out that way. We also, I mean, infrastructure wise, I don't know that it's a concern to the west. So that I brought it up because I know that there's potentially some things in this area. You've got this that you've talked about. But again, I don't know that there's, if we know our water capacity, if we have questions, I know we have the new tower out there, I say new, 10 years old, whatever, but, this is why I brought that up.
So you were saying your list was, it was Can Camp and
West Maumee,
West Maumee.
and then I'd like the Pokagon, moving the Pokagon further north.
And then the other ones are kind of.
I mean, I think the other ones
Remembering these, Aretha?
Yeah, I think, I mean, right now we have Sarah Nova and the residential 2 and 3 that we think we should keep.
I think those, I would keep 2, 3, 4, and I would either keep 5 or shift 5 to the north and just, I think from an acreage and use standpoint, where these red boxes are not super critical. I mean, that I would think any development that goes north of there is going to be residential. So, you know, you're still looking at utility extensions and the same kind of capacity.
Will it come though from 200 instead of 827? Like, will that make a big enough difference that you should rather pick property on the north side of the tracks instead of the east side or whatever?
I don't know if it makes a difference.
Okay.
From like a development and cost standpoint, from a utility standpoint, it would be our goal to connect 827 and 200 north and run a big, yeah. So which way you came, you know, maybe you pick the properties east of Sarah Nova's as a study area. We just have never had interest in it, but I think that it is developable.
And you'd pick up the,
Yeah.
to that corner, you'd pick up the church's water and sewer. I mean, that would be significant.
Yeah, it is. So like from a water standpoint, it's more important than sewer standpoint, but you really don't want dead ends. Dead ends means poor water quality. And so the more you can loop, the better water quality, better fire protection, the better pressure, you know, all of that. And if you look at the city, we're really long and skinny, you know, so we try to figure out how can we round that out? How can we make these loops? You know, that corner is an area of looping. The Center Lake to 200 West area is an area of looping. It's just we've never had serious development, so we didn't include that. I mean, it's kind of a goal, a wish list to round us out better and not be so long and skinny, but it seems like we just keep going.
Well, going to Pokagon
Long and
isn't gonna
skinny.
help with that at all.
Yes.
Well, here's my question on the Pokagon one, which again, I don't disagree with you guys on that. But if we don't include that and it ends up being needed in the next year or two, would it be our responsibility to figure out the bottlenecks and that, like, is it helping us or helping
North of Pokagon or
Yes.
between Pokagon and city limits?
north of Pokagon? When you guys talked about moving north of Pokagon.
So I think we looked at this years ago,
You and I did, yeah.
but if you required, so if you require the hotels to get, like, what they're paying on a monthly fee for their insurance and their water tests, they don't have fire suppression on any of that stuff, but you put the hotels and the outlets and stuff on it, you start seeing that return at some point. So to answer your question, yes, the developer's probably gonna have to do it if they come out there and do something.
To the north of Pokagon.
But to be out there to have it ahead of time, I think could be advantageous to get that area.
It could, I think
It may not be.
it could be, if it was the goal in the vision of the county, and then we could help support that. I mean, I don't think it could be us just saying, we're gonna extend utilities and hope, good luck, county. You know, I think it would have to be their vision too, that they want that little corner developed, and how can we help? Well, we can help with the utility standpoint.
Would it relieve, knowing the county, would it relieve some pressure from their waste district? Like, would that be a bonus or not?
Yes,
Because I would think it would relieve a considerable amount of pressure from that
yeah, I would say
capacity
yes.
issue.
So you really would have to decide, so if we moved north of Pokagon and kept that Pokagon one, and we kept Sarah Nova and the Sarah Nova residential, we kept the Sheets or Center Lake property, we kept Eastland, we went to Can Camp, and we kept Pleasant Lake, we don't And that's 7 areas, so we can't do West Maumee. So if you want to do something on West Maumee, we've either gotta shift it or do something else, so that's why I'm.
And I'm not saying that F and V is hard set on 7, that's just what we came up with. And so they modeled that, you know, and that could be a conversation that I have of like, here's our ranked areas. What can you include? I mean, they really, for the ones that they've already studied, they have all of that analysis done from they know, okay, it's commercial, it's gonna produce that, it's gonna be the same on the water as the sewer. So it shouldn't be additional work. So I don't know, you know, they may say, yeah, give me 8, give me, or say, no, absolutely not. So I would wanna take the entire list that's important to you guys to them and say, here it is, we've ranked it out, what can you guys do?
Can I ask a question, make a comment?
Yeah.
Comment is, if you're going north of Pokagon, you might want to know more about the casino that's talked about, because that obviously could be a big player.
Correct.
That's what I was getting ready to say.
And my question for Amanda is, when was the Rosewood Edition part of this study at all?
No.
Why is that?
Because from a political standpoint, we were told not to touch it.
I'm all about that.
Now, another thing that I think should be done, I don't know how you do this, but this areas should overlap with gas and electric that's available too. Because if we run water to somewhere that they don't ever plan to get gas to, did us no good.
Right.
That's a good point.
But I don't know how you can get them in the same room, figure that out.
That's above my pay grade on that one.
Mayor to have more insight into that.
So I think we do, the 7 we said plus West Maumee and Amanda, you have a good sense of having a conversation with them when you have your kickoff and say, hey,
Yeah.
this is what we're talking about. And then we come back, finalize it and be good, or we'll just be talking in circles.
Yeah, I'm good with that, bringing it up, if you don't mind bringing up those 8, and I can,
Just so that I have it on my notes correctly, we're removing Pokagon, but moving it to the north. Removing region number 6 and moving it to Can Camp.
yes,
Adding West Maumee,
yes.
and then the rest stay as is.
You guys wanted to maybe move Eastland a little bit north or something, but we don't. You mentioned it, you can move that around wherever on that, in that area.
If the
Help
only
create
one that
that
really is West Maumee, well, it does. Do you have to, we get a separate number from them to do the sewer? Because you didn't do sewer in those areas. And north will make a difference. It probably won't matter on Region 6 and Can Camp a lot. West could potentially, do you think you were at the same boat where we had sewer, but now we didn't have water, now we're gonna have water but not sewer? You can think through that, I guess. We don't need to.
Yeah, I'd have to think through that on, and I think it would depend on what they find in based back on his question. We can go back to F and B and say, hey, you added these areas. What does that look like on the sewer side? Run that model and get us a model on that. That's something that I think we could do.
Like it.
Everybody happy with that? Okay, we'll keep moving on. Anybody have anything else? Rita, you're up if you have anything else.
I just
You
need
got,
your
you got
approval.
less than 6 minutes. Mark's gonna get up late.
Oh my gosh, Mark.
I always get blind.
No, I think that's it.
No, you're not good with you?
Oh, did
No.
you say good with you? Yes,
from
I
it.
am, sorry. I thought you said, do you need me?
Oh, okay.
No, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
We always appreciate your expertise. I brought you an invoice, and
Oh, yeah.
I took it back from Baker Tilly. So when we extended the TIF district, that created some work in the county auditor's office. And we, Jason Semler from Baker Tilly called the auditor, made some phone calls, talked to them through getting this done, so it was in that same taxable year. Otherwise, she was gonna push that back. And so there's a bill from Baker Tilly.
For 1,560, do we approve paying that bill? Yes.
Okay. That's what I needed. And that's it, so we can get Mark out of here.
Okay.
Let's complain.
I just need a motion to.
Did you hear me complaining, Kim?
No, there's a
But Eric,
unstated
you
rule,
wanted the
meetings
best,
must
so-
last no longer than 1 hour, and you're good at
We're
that.
on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Give that to the Historic Preservation Commission.
History lasts forever, you gotta remember that.
It seems to.
Yeah, who wants to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Carrie makes a
during the meeting.
motion, we have a second? Seconded. John makes a second, and we're all gonna say favor and take off. Take off.